So I am Jane Bidding. As the associate principal here, I also, you saw the Fusion area, our new tech pathway. I'm the director of our Fusion pathway here at the middle school, and I'm also the director of safety for our entire school district. So, you know, I just do a few things, but just kidding, Mr. Teeter.
I heard you.
Okay. So I'm going to this is going to be brief. I want you to enjoy your lunch and to be able to be social. Just so you know kind of some of the things that we are doing in regards to funding at DeKalb Central Schools. We are writing grants. We are trying to get money into the school system that will help us with safety initiatives. So over the summer, we've received $55,000 to help with our school resource officer program. We have currently one full-time school resource officer in the district. He's located at the high school. But this funding has allowed us to add extra hours in hopes that we can maybe increase that to a second full-time school resource officer for DeKalb Central Schools. We currently have Officer Brady Thomas, who splits his time between DeKalb Middle School and Waterloo Elementary, and then we also have Officer Ben Browen from the Sheriff's Department, who splits between McKinney and Watson. Officer Derek Bergdahl is at the high school, and he goes to Country Meadow. So this $55,000 is earmarked. We can't just use it on whatever we want. That's earmarked for that school resource officer program and trying to get them more visible. In writing that grant, my intent was to make our SROs part of our daily student life. I've done enough discipline, or I've sat in enough situations where our students have to talk to a school resource officer that they've never seen. And typically when they're having those conversations are very personal. There's things that are going on or things that they need to talk about. And I wanted our officers to be known. I wanted a student to walk in the room and if they had to talk to an officer, not be anxious or nervous because this is a stranger they've never seen before. So I really think we're doing that. We're asking our officers to go to lunch. You may see Officer Thomas down here. He'll sit down at a table and eat lunch with the kids. We're asking our elementary officers, when they go to elementaries, go to lunch. We try to go out to recess. So we're trying to really incorporate that this year. We also received $40,000 from a different grant for our district that we can use to use equipment. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what that looks like here. I gave you our school resource officers. Hopefully, like I said, we're hoping to be able to continue this program to increase the full-time officers that we're able to have here at the district. Equipment that we needed. Okay, these are what we see as needs. They're not the luxuries that you see on TV when people are creating those crazy schools with like all these like smoke motion sensor thing. We're not doing that. We're what we need. So what we need is additional video equipment. So we want to add a server at the middle school. We want to add additional cameras at several locations. And we see some blind spots. We want to add additional radio equipment. We did a lot with our radios last year. We still have some gaps. So we're just trying to, piece those each and every year till we get the best program. So we're trying to be very fiscally responsible when we do upgrade things, that we upgrade things knowing that this is going to last us longer. So we did buy some radios that were maybe a little bit more expensive last year, but we didn't want to buy the old model because we know we're going to have to upgrade. So we're just trying to be very responsible with this money as we get it. 3M film, this is kind of a unique thing. On all of our main entrances, you won't see, but there is 3M film. So what does this do? It does not make glass bulletproof. What it does is it slows down entry. So typically with a glass, if you shoot it, you can shoot the window out, it shatters, it falls, and you have entry into a building. You can shoot through, it's not bulletproof, but then it takes up to 2 minutes for the person to continually work and actually break the window to get in. That 2 minutes is key. So if we're talking about a situation where someone's trying to enter our building to cause harm, most of those situations are over in 5 minutes. So if it takes them 2 minutes to get in my building, that's 2 minutes that law enforcement have on their side to get to a building to help out and assist. That allows, that extra 2 minutes allows our front office staff, we have cameras that all the ladies in the front office have pulled up on their computer of the doors. We have those cameras. If they see something going on, we go into immediate lockdown drill, or not drill, but. So we're also looking at additional equipment as needed by location. Waterloo needs some new outdoor lighting, so we're looking at that with this grant money. We were given the free handheld metal detectors. Governor Holcomb provided those. He sent out a memo, provided those to any school district that wanted them. There were 95% of the school districts in the state of Indiana took those. We were one of those schools that did take them. I'm all for free tools. I mean, I'm not going to say, no, I don't want them. I'm going to say, give it to me, and then we're going to train, and we're going to write policy on what we're going to do with them. So we are not using them. It would take 6 hours to get every student in the high school in the building if you want every student the way you technically should be wanting them. So we're looking at policies. We're partnering with like neighboring school districts. We've talked to school districts that aren't even in DeKalb County on what they're doing, just so that we can kind of see some consistency. Because the last thing I want is to implement something and it's not consistent, and patrons are coming to a basketball game and they're going, what, I'm getting wanded, and I don't get this at Garrett, or I don't get this when we play in the NE8 anywhere else, our athletic conference. So we're just being very intentional before we start using them. I want policy, and I want to make sure everyone that has a vested interest in coming into our buildings knows what to expect. So look for communication coming out on that as well. So one of the things I really wanted to spend the majority of time talking about is the layered approach that we have to safety here at DeKalb Central Schools. And this is something I'm truly proud of. We started last year. One of the things we learned after the Parkland shooting in Florida was that students wanted to be heard. That was really the first time that we saw students wanting a voice. The other school shootings, it seemed like the adults were the ones that were trying to be the voice for the kids. After the Parkland shooting, the students said, no, it's our turn. And we talked about this at our safety academy in Indianapolis a few weeks ago. So we said, fine, we want student safety committees. We want kids to tell us what bothers you, what are you worried about when you're in school, and those kinds of things. So the middle school has 32 students. This week we trained on ABCs. So when you see someone's actions that are different, or their actions, behavior, and clothing. If you notice something is out of the norm in one of those things, then it's a concern. That doesn't make that person a threat, a danger. We're concerned about them at any level, okay? So we taught the middle school students that, and it was interesting because now they're using that terminology. In just the few days that we've had that in place, students are able to have conversations. Mrs. Binning, I'm concerned about. Not like I'm scared of, I feel threatened by, because that wasn't really that was just the term they had in their mind. We're concerned. So middle school students are well into that process. The high school is going to be implementing a safety team this year. This will be the first time they've had a student safety team. They're going to have 4 students per grade level, and they're going to meet once in 9 weeks. The middle school students, it's a little easier for us with our homeroom situation the way it is. We meet once a month with the middle school student safety team. And our 32 students were 32 students that said, we want to be a part of this. We sent out a Google form, let them respond, and they wanted to be a part, so come on down. The first year, when we did this last year, we had 75 students that said they wanted to be a part of the safety team. Now, a lot of those kids were 8th graders and have moved on to high school, so I'll be anxious to see how many of them want to do the high school student safety team. The next layer that we have, so we have the student level. We have building level. Every building has a safety team. Those meetings are held on a regular basis, and committees, those safety committees in each building are made up of people with various responsibilities. So you're going to have teachers, you're going to have secretarial, you're going to have custodial, school nurses are on these teams. And they meet once a month to say, okay, what's happening here? What do we need to upgrade or fix here? For example, they will do tabletop exercises like, okay, if this were the scenario, and they talk through it before we present it to our full staff. So that's huge for them to kind of feel out, like this is a good activity, this is a good drill scenario, those types of pieces. We've made significant changes based on the safety committee here at the middle school. We went to a binder system for when we exit the building. They were the ones saying, could you put everything in a binder? And they helped do all of that and you hand it all out. It was amazing. So the building level really does a lot of the groundwork. We also have a district level safety team. So that's a team that I head up at the district level. We meet in every building in the district. And one of the things that we are very intentional about at that meeting is we do an internal safety audit. So we do our business meeting, we take care of those things, but then we do an audit where we go and walk the building. And you know, this has huge benefits on aspects of safety, but the unintended outcome was we were presenting this information to Mr. Snyder, who then can report it to our insurance companies to show that we are being proactive and taking care of things. So if we're walking through a building and we see a door that's unlocked, we note that door. So that building principal can then have a conversation with the teacher or whomever it might be, or a custodian left a door open to a room, whatever the case. We then can report to that building, and then the next month, the building principal will report, here's what we did with the safety information that you gave us. So it's not just, here you go, we're going on our way. Follow up with us. Tell us what idea you had to fix this situation.
That helps, if I can interject for a second.
Absolutely.
When it comes time for insurance renewal, which is a huge cost for the district, it helps then, when it comes time for that, they already know these things that we're doing. They've come and actually been a part of one of our meetings to witness kind of what goes on. And so as they're looking at premiums and what level they're going to renew us at, they can see the things that we're doing in the activity. So it makes that process a whole lot more financially beneficial for us.
So that team is made up, we have all levels. Marcus Wagner is our elementary representative, Amanda Rice is our middle school representative, and Reef Gilg is our high school representative. We also have SRO, all directors, so food service, transportation, technology, maintenance, they're all in the room having these conversations. We're not having them in a vacuum. Like, we want transportation to know what's expected of them when we go into this situation. We want food service, like if we go into a drill and it's during lunch, what's that look like? We need to have those conversations with them at the table. So that is very intentional that all of those people are on that committee. We also have Mr. Teeters, Ms. Vaughn, Mr. Snyder. This year we've added Wendy Pettis, HR, into the scheme of being safety trained because we just feel like that's so important to have more people at the table, because I'm looking through the big lens of the whole district. You know, Steve's looking through his lens, Lori's got hers. So it's good to have everyone sitting around the table when we're trying to make change and make things happen. We also get to attend, like meetings, right? We get to attend a county safety commission. That's required in the state of Indiana that you have someone from your school attend a county safety commission. So these meetings are monthly. They are for DeKalb County. So every DeKalb County school is at this meeting. We rotate between schools in the county. The first one was at Garrett. This month is going to be at DeKalb Central. We're going to have it in our boardroom at central office. And it is first responders. It is state police. It is city police. It is county police. It is Bowen and Northeastern Center are at the table. I mean, this is okay. We're a community. And I love this meeting because no one says I won't share. Everyone's like, hey, I just did this drill, I tried this, can you send me your policy? We are sharing back and forth. And I love that it's about DeKalb County. It's not my school versus your school. I love that idea. Let's do this together. We all collaborate on drills. On our major drills, they want us participating together. So it is truly a community effort to keep the kids of DeKalb County safe. Indiana DOE is probably, I'm going to say, one of the top departments of ed in the nation when it comes to safety. We brag about it, we talk about it. They offer training to school safety specialists for free. They pay for the hotel rooms when we have to go to Indy for 2 nights. That's how much it means that's how much it means in the state of Indiana. This is not some ungodly, costly training that you're trying to send people to. Every administrator in our district is an advanced school safety specialist. Our SRO is an advanced school safety specialist. We, central office staff are going through this training. Because when you get to that training, then the map grows. So I'm super excited about what we can learn from DeKalb County, but then I get to see the state. And I will tell you, I sat in a session at the beginning of September about reunification, what happens after an incident and you need to get kids back with their parents. And the whole front row of that session was Noblesville. Schools sitting there, and the presenter was, this is how this worked, and they were shaking their heads, yes, or they were commenting, this is what we struggled with. So they were at the table, and they were willing to share. That's what's huge. So that to me speaks a lot about the state of Indiana. I'm also collaborating with districts outside of DeKalb County. I know I often collaborate with Northwest Allen because I have contact there. I was formerly at Huntington County Community Schools, so I know their safety director as well. I formerly worked at Central Noble, so I know their school safety. I went to high school with them. So so we are looking not just at DeKalb to get those local ideas as well. We are going to the people that I have networked with and know. Dottie Davis out of Fort Wayne Community Schools, huge resource for us. Absolutely, she'll send us stuff. So this is really what I am super proud of that we can do at DeKalb Central Schools, is this many different levels of bringing people to the table and really talking about this topic and not operating in that vacuum and some school districts do. I will be honest with you. So, thank you. If you have questions for me, I'll mill around. I don't or we could do formal questions. I don't have a problem with that. I don't want to, I know you have 5 minutes-ish.
Yeah.
So.
But we can, any questions, we certainly can capture those.
Okay.
How did you come to be the district security supervisor? Is this just a responsibility you got tagged on, other things, just an additional hat, or is that why you got hired?
No, so I was the director of student services here at the middle school 3 years ago. And then an opportunity opened up that Mr. Vince became the principal here, and then I became the assistant principal, and I called Steve and said, Steve, this is a passion for me, because I had done a lot of work with it when I was at Huntington as an administrator. I was on the team, I had done all the training, and Mr. Vince was the former district safety director. And so I said, I don't know that this has to be tied to middle school assistant principal, but this is something I'm super passionate about and interested in. And so I made that phone call, and he said that that was something that, yeah, this was an opportunity that he was willing to let me try. So,
That's great.
Yeah.
So back to the grants you mentioned, the 55 and the 40,000, so that's 95,000 in grants, which is great. Those are matching grants, so we also have to spend 95,000 of our own dollars as a district in order to get their matching funds. So the grant dollars are awesome, and we couldn't do a lot of the things we do without them, but we also have to have some skin in the game as well.
Absolutely.